The purpose behind why we get married is being questioned more and more often. When it's common to live together, have sex, buy a home, get a dog, or start having kids before getting married, all things that are traditionally accepted after marriage, does marriage still have a purpose? What do you guys think? What purpose does marriage serve, if it even does?
Well, you referenced me,
so yeah, let's go.
which I'm very comfortable about getting married. I do want to get married. I just want to make that clear.
Why?
Why? Because I think that's the last emotional contract that you have with somebody. And if you want to take that final step and make that contract, you should. And I met somebody that I don't want to say it on the air, so he'll have to find out on his own. There, look what you just did. So here's the thing.
There's a proposal there.
There, maybe if he's watching. I just lost my thought.
Yeah, anyways,
look what you just did.
Okay, so Josh, what do you think marriage, what purpose does it serve? Because people are still getting married.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point about the last emotional contract, right? Like you have all those things that traditionally used to be after marriage, right? You're doing them all already anyways. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, what else can we do to kind of solidify this? And another thing too is that, I mean, yes, you can get it annulled, you can do all these things, but I think it does make it just a little bit harder for there to be a breakup, right? So it's just that other level of commitment where it's just like, I'm willing to take that risk with you because,
deposit.
well, it's like, I'm willing to take that risk with you because I trust you enough that I think we'll stay together.
What makes marriage the most significant step? Is it legalities? Is it religious beliefs?
Because, like, he nailed it. Like, you feel like it's that last form of commitment where you're, like, really stuck with that person and you can't necessarily
There's still always
leave.
the question if it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's just like, technically, if you're
going.
Like,
so what about people who have gotten a divorce? What purpose do they think marriage serves for themselves?
Like getting remarried?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because it's probably a lot weaker.
Yeah,
They've already been
No,
married.
because I think in that fact that people who've gotten divorced and then remarry, people that I've worked with or people that are older, the ladies, like, it's more because they weren't with the one person that it wasn't their person.
Right.
And usually I think sometimes people are quick to get married, so they end up with the wrong person first. Then they actually go through hell and back, get divorced, go back out there at some point when they're ready, and then meet someone who actually fits what their needs are.
So on the point of weddings being more religious, it's actually interesting. Generally, Canadians reject the notion that a religious wedding is more legitimate than a civil one. 76% disagree with a statement to this effect, but 18% of Canadians believe a religious wedding ceremony is more legitimate than a civil wedding. What do you guys think?
I think it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous?
Kind of insulting.
How so?
Why is my marriage illegitimate? Because so I lost my train of thought. First person in history to do that. So why would my marriage be illegitimate because it's not religious? It's a bond. I took the steps. I made the commitment to somebody. Why is that illegitimate?
So it's not just strictly religious. It's more the emotional bond. But I would say that legal matters play a big role into this. Like when you get married to somebody, that's because you want to buy a house. You've made those comments off air. Like it's if you want to buy a house with somebody, you want to take the next steps in life to continue growing.
Well, off air doesn't count, number one. But I think, but no, you need two incomes to buy a home. But I think that it's such an antiquated tradition. It's a good one, but it's evolving and it's changing, and people's ideas are changing about it. It's not what it was 40 years ago when my parents got married. Right? People don't get married to move out of the house anymore. They get married because I think now they understand it. They've spent time on it. If you're getting married in your 30s, I think you've done your homework.
So let me ask you guys this. If we were to look at marriage a little differently, rather than a lifelong contract, because maybe that's why a lot of the marriages end in divorce, you've stopped chasing something next in the relationship. I don't know. But do you think there should be a fixed term contract, something to think about? Like every 5 years, it renews. So it forces you to be better in the relationship rather than being complacent.
Okay, first of all, I think it's hard to even get yourself a relationship because they're all situationships. So
That's true. Yeah.
Let's get a fixed term contract.
So you don't think
think
the 5-year renewal contract, like a mortgage, is a thing?
But what new terms would you renew on the 5 years?
Yeah. If you want to get married again.
You can re-download Tinder in 5 years. Like, what would be the new terms?
If you've gotten bored.
Yes, I get the top bunk. Like, what is that? Like, what happens?
Okay, so after I talked to some longtime married people, and one of the things that they mentioned was it was the declaration to be committed to someone for the rest of your life, and it means something. Is it just another way to say I love you, marriage?
I think it's way deeper than I love you. Like when you look at I love you, people say that pretty flippantly nowadays, I think, right? Yeah. When you look at marriage, yes, some people do get married pretty flippantly, but like you said, it's the long-term commitment of I want to be with you for the rest of my life. That is a completely different thing than I love you. Like, I mean, probably if you ask everyone in this room, they've probably said I love you to multiple people.
That's true. Okay, I'm gonna leave that thought there. We'll get into it in segment 3, but we'll be right back to discuss what role marriage plays in our society. Let's see, and enjoy the Streeters.
I'ma rule the world, yeah.